Howdy everybody. Okay, so today we do have a cooking class. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen, so usually that's what it means. Today though, it's gonna go along with the holiday, the National Popcorn Day. Like I said, I would do a class and show you how I make popcorn. Actually, this is the first time making it kind of this way. I have a whirly pop that I usually use, which is just it's like a pot with a handle, and you can actually just kind of, like, move the kernels around, and it cooks everything pretty evenly. But with an induction oven, which is this one, it doesn't work with it. So unfortunately, I can't use that. So we're gonna do it a different way. So this is the first time I'm trying it. So hopefully that it all works out well. Usually does, but it's only one way to find out. So I'm going to get started and let you know what I do for popcorn. I like to keep it simple, and popcorn is actually one of the healthier snacks that you can have. There's not a lot of calories or anything like that. You can eat a bunch of it. I mean, depending on what popcorn you make. Obviously, if you make like a caramel ball or something like that, it's not going to be that healthy. It's going to be really sugary. But if you just basically salt and pepper and put on, say, another ingredient, then you can really make it. I mean, it's a healthy snack and it's good. It can work for all sorts of occasions, movies, going to the beach, and so what I'm going to show you is what I do. So I have a cheese grater here. Now my secret ingredient is this Parmesan cheese. To me, it brings everything together. So you get this great taste of, and just salt, pepper, and Parmesan. But you want a certain kind of grater that actually helps a lot. A lot of people have graters like this. I'm just using this as an example. You could use this side, but you don't want to use this. You don't want like big chunks of Parmesan in there. It won't cook very well. It'll actually be kind of chunky, and the Parmesan might actually overtake the taste of everything else, and you don't want that. You want it to be evenly flavored as much as possible. So like I said, if you did, don't use this, but maybe this side. But if you have one of these, this is perfect for Parmesan. This is the perfect cheese grater. So like I said, this is more of an example. Alright, so I have my mise en place, everything here that I need. I've got my extra virgin olive oil. I've got my kernels ready to go. I have my salt and my pepper. I have my butter, which I know, you don't need butter, but popcorn, man. Butter is one of the best things for it. And then I have my Parmesan. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grate my Parmesan. And, I always start just with the tip. And then just grate however much you really want or think that you'll need, depending on how many people maybe you have over. If it's just maybe you and one other person, and going to watch say, the Jazz, because they're #1 in the league still. Or if you're going to watch the Warriors or a basketball game, football game, anything like that. But depending on how many people you have, depends on how much Parmesan you want to grate. So it's really kind of up to you. So for this, I'm just making it for 2 people. So I don't need a ton of Parmesan. But I do want the flavor to come all the way through. And then with this, you just kind of hold it down and keep it a firm base at the bottom there. As long as you're doing that, it should be pretty easy. There we go. We have got ourselves some Parmesan. I'm not sure if that's enough for me. And honestly, when it comes to Parmesan, I'd rather have more than less. So, But I also want to keep my Parmesan for other things, for pasta, for dinners that I might make. So I don't want to use all of it for popcorn. Okay, that's a good amount. We're going to shake this off. Put this in the sink. Then we want to put, and clean as you go, remember that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put our Parmesan away. Ooh, some of it flipped up into the air. Mm-hmm. And it helps also to add less salt, because with the Parmesan what happens is it's very salty cheese, so you don't need to add as much salt to your popcorn, which is good for if you have high blood pressure or anything like that. You know, it'll help out that way. So, you know, that's what's another good thing about Parmesan as a topping. But, you know, I'm interested. I would like to know, like, what toppings that you typically like to put on. Some people just like butter, salt, and pepper. Some people just like no pepper and just butter and salt. I'm a spicy kind of person, so I prefer that. But you can use different kinds of peppers. There's red pepper. Some people like to put paprika on there. So it's all up to you, which is cool about popcorn. Alright. Parmesan is away. Now we're going to get started on the main thing. Okay, so what I'm going to need now is just a little knife. So I've already got a little tab of butter. Not quite enough for me. And so, like I've showed you before, they have little lines here that, that separate how many teaspoons and everything there are. Or tablespoons, I'm sorry. That there are in each one. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. Again, just because I like butter, and what I figure is, 1 tablespoon, and I'll show you as I go, but what I usually like to do is do one, like, I'll take half the popcorn once it's done, and put butter over half of it, salt, pepper, Parmesan, then put the rest on top, then butter, salt, pepper, Parmesan, and then I'll show you another little trick in a little bit. Alright. I don't need my scissors anymore. They can go away. I'm going to put the butter away, clean as we go. Like I said, in the cooking world, there's one thing you want to make sure that you always do, and that's to clean as you go. You want to make sure that, you keep your station nice and clean. That way, at the end of the night, no matter what, or at the end of the day, whenever you're done cooking anything, there's not that much to really clean up. And as long as you do it as you go, it becomes much, much easier. Okay, so now we got to look at the ingredients. What do we need? And it's very minimal when it comes to popcorn. So 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, or coconut oil, or canola oil, or really any kind of oil that you want. Me, I've got extra virgin olive oil. So what we're going to do, open this up, and we just need 2 tablespoons. So there's 1. And there's 2. Now, I usually do this over it because if you accidentally put more in, it's not going to hurt anything. I mean, depending on how much more you put in there, but a little bit of a droplet. But then this way I'm not spilling on the stovetop, which is more difficult to clean, and you don't want that. Oh, there's my alarm. So give me one moment, I'll be right back, because my alarm did just go off, so that's something I gotta do. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Excellent. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure when it comes to making this, I'm going to swirl the oil around the bottom of the pan. I want it to be as even as possible. Give it a nice coating so that I don't get any burned popcorn. Okay, now for the exciting part. I've got everything I need, everything's in its place, we're ready to go. Now it says to turn this up to a medium heat. Oh, there's one thing I forgot. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to need a whisk to whisk the butter around. Alright, so medium heat. So there's low, there's hot, right in the middle, there's medium. And then what we're going to do is we're going to let that sit, kind of let things come to the top. And what it says to do, at least for this recipe, is to put in two different kernels. Not different, but two kernels, I'm sorry. And let them pop. And then you'll know that the heat's right about where you need it to be. So we'll start with that. I let one drop. So there's two. And cover. And then once we hear it pop, we should be ready to go. And so now it's just kind of a waiting game. You know, when do they pop? When will they pop? When will it be good enough to go? And so what happens is once these two pop, what I'll do is I'll turn it down to low, and then I'll put in the rest of the kernels and turn it back up to medium heat. Once they start to pop, what you're going to do is take the lid, and you don't want to steam, definitely don't want steamed popcorn, which basically will just make it wet. And the soggy popcorn is probably not the best. And so then you wait for that to where you start to hear the popping. Then we'll just kind of move the lid over a little bit, and then you just kind of give it a shimmy. And the shimmy is all for just making sure that everything's even. You want to make sure all those kernels are spreading out evenly. And then, you know, once that starts to happen, then I'll start my butter. And then my butter will start to go. And I'll get that nice. And again, one thing you don't want to do is overcook anything. If you overcook it, it becomes burnt. And burnt butter, burnt pretty much anything does not taste as good as something that was well done. I did a hollandaise sauce once, and I overcooked it. And what happens is it breaks, and then it's not fun. You don't really want to. You don't really want to do that. So, you know, but you learn as you go. And we're learning right now with this. You know, this is a pretty good saucepan, and again, it's an induction oven. So there's only like certain metals that will really work with an induction oven. And these are the ones that we have for it. Other things I've tried, it doesn't induct into it. It just doesn't even recognize it. So you have to buy certain panware and things like that in order to happen. In order for everything to happen well. What I would really like, and this is, I've only had one once for a little while, but is a gas stove. To where you can control the heat yourself. I mean, that's what most chefs dream about. Just a perfect gas stove. To where, you know, you light the burner, boom, 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 but you can turn it down, turn it up, get back up the heat, get back down out of heat as soon as you want. Whereas, you know, this is a wonderful range and everything, but, you know, you don't know until you actually like have a gas range, and it's really fun to cook with. But that's for the future. Right now I have this wonderful new age sort of thing, and it's pretty sweet. But you see, it's gonna take a little while, and you can definitely check on it to see how it's going. What we can do during this time, though, since we have downtime, is put the butter in here. Now, I don't want to start cooking it yet. I can smell the oil heating, which is good. And something a very wise person told me once, whenever you're cooking anything, the best way to do it is low and slow. And this is what we're doing with this, low and slow. If you want to get it done too fast, you're going to burn some. Always wash our hands. Again, just like with the dishes, clean as you go. Clean my hands, and it's a good thing. Now I can kind of smell it. Let's see. Put this on medium. Just in case. You never know. We're making food the other day, and it called for actually burning things. It actually is what the recipe was for lamb chops. And it said to burn it. But it set off the smoke detector, and so, I have my reservations about that. It was more of a hassle than it was fun. And so this is taking a little bit longer. So I'm going to pause it for just a little bit, and then I will bring you right back once these two kernels pop, 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 pop. But I'll definitely let you be there for the entire time for when everything starts to go. Okay, see you in a bit. Hey everybody. So I couldn't really see what was going on in the pan, so I switched over to a new one. And we're just going to put everything in there and see how it goes. So, got my popcorn. Put it in there. And then what we're going to do is give it a shimmy. Make sure everything's kind of even in there. Make sure that everything starts to give a little pop, pop, pop. And then we should be good. I'm also going to start to slowly melt my butter. But this way, with a glass lid, at least I can see what's going on. But first, you do want to make sure that you get as much heat in there as possible. And then we'll start to hear them pop, 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 pop. And that'll be the best way. And it's a good thing to be able to see it. And again, kind of shimmy as you go. Now it's definitely starting to fog up. It's harder to see. But once they start to pop, things will be good. But again, you want it at a bit of medium heat. And then with the butter, you want to make sure that you're just kind of every little bit here, making sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Just keeping it going that way. And then shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Make sure everything's even. You can kind of hear it starting to get going. And then eventually you'll start to hear it start to pop. Once it starts to pop, we're in a good place. We're happy. Alright, let's get this butter going. Oh, there's one. Okay, Okay, so it says once it starts to go, what you want to do is you want to take the lid down a little bit so it steams out. And just kind of let it shimmy. But it's good. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. It'll start going crazy in a bit. And you want to have a bowl nearby so that once everything is popped, if it starts to overflow for whatever reason, then you can take the overflow and just put it right into the bowl. I think this is big enough that we should be good. Definitely kicking up some stuff. Boom, 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 boom. Give it a little shimmy, shimmy. Make sure everything's cooking evenly. And again, you want the lid tilted just a little bit, because you don't want it to steam completely. You want to give it a little bit of air, but you also don't want those little ones to go flying out of there, which, you know, they'll tend to do. But, you know, after a while, it'll take like maybe a couple, you know, you want to wait for a break. So that way, and that's how you know that all of it's done. See, right now it's going at a nice pace. But eventually what you're going to want to do is wait, and then it'll start just to be like pop, a couple of seconds, pop, a couple of seconds. That means it's pretty much done. But we want to focus on the butter still. Just let the popcorn do its thing. Maybe give it another shimmy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this burner over here. Oh, top one. There we go. Just on sort of a, like 1 or 2. I'm going to go 1.5. Yeah, and it's still going really well, which is awesome. And popcorn, you know, made this way, it's healthier in the way that, you know, I know that microwave popcorn's easy, but there's a lot of chemicals and things that actually get involved when you do it that way. Put the butter over here and just keep it warm. Turn this burner off. But with this, it's just olive oil or whatever oil you use, and you eliminate, you know, additives and things like that. And it becomes a nice, more fresh sort of way to have popcorn. Oh, and it's starting to slow down now. You can hear that, which is good. Still going though. One more shimmy, shimmy. Don't want the lid to stay up. Let some of that heat come out of there. And there we go. Yep. Then we know it's done. Then you want to immediately take it off the heat. Now it might still pop for a little bit. And what we're going to do is transfer it into the bowl. There we go. Let's pop the popcorn. Oh. A little bit of noise, so I've got my little thing here. I'll loosen everything up. There we go. We're good to go. Oh, I didn't do it exactly the way I said I was going to do it. I apologize. But what I'm going to do is put on a little bit of butter. You can hear it steaming in there. And then I'm just going to add some salt, depending on how much you want. I won't do too much. A little bit of pepper. And then my Parmesan. Sprinkle that over the top. Now you may wonder why I have a cutting board here. I don't really need. But I do. This way what I can do is shake it up, 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 shake it up. Bam! Now that it's all shaken, then I'll do a little bit, first butter. Put on the rest of my butter. I don't want to waste any of the butter. I'll get one of my spoons here. Just scrape out everything completely. Oh yeah. And then more salt, more pepper. And we didn't grate this Parmesan for nothing. And the rest of the Parmesan cheese all over the top. Yum, 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 yum. But I like even flavors, so again, you take this, but you want to make sure that it's flat and completely covered. Because if you leave any part open, then stuff's going to start to fly out. And I could show you that, but that would just be embarrassing. Almost did, see? You gotta be careful. And then you got yourself some beautiful popcorn. Happy National Popcorn Day. Good. Alright. I'll see y'all another time. Ciao for now.